Welcome to the Academic Woman Amplified podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Mazak, tenured full professor, mom of three, and firm believer that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Academic culture makes us believe that the quote-unquote traditional path through academia is also the quote-unquote normal path. But the more I talk to academic women, the more I believe that the traditional path is far from normal. In fact, it's becoming the exception. Today, I want to talk about disrupting the received milestones in academia. You know what they are. Get your PhD, and by the way, get it before you have kids or get a life partner. Maybe get a postdoc, depending on your field. Get a tenure-track job right out of your PhD or postdoc, and then work your butt off to get tenure. Maybe go up for full someday. That is what the racist, patriarchal culture of academia wants us to believe is normal for a career path in academia. And every deviation from this path is marked as non-traditional. Believing that you are on a non-traditional path would be totally fine if non-traditional wasn't also code for less than. So many women who I talk to during the application process for Amplify and Elevate, which are our programs for pre- and post-tenure women on the tenure track, lead the conversation by saying that they haven't taken the traditional path through academia. It's the first thing out of people's mouths when I ask them, where are you in your career? Most of the time, people will tell me, I have taken a non-traditional path and then gone through what that path is. So here are some of the reasons that people call themselves non-traditional, or people call their paths non-traditional paths. They had a baby during their PhD. They worked a career between their undergrad and grad school. They became an associate director of a research center instead of getting a traditional tenure-track job. They worked as an adjunct between their PhD and their tenure-track job. They took longer than their cohort to graduate their PhD. They worked at a teaching institution or an aspiring institution, and so they didn't build a line of research early in their careers, but they need to do so now because they want to get promoted under new rules or change jobs completely. None of these are reasons to be ashamed. In fact, each and every one of these reasons for being non-traditional actually enriches your experience of your tenure-track career. These experiences make you a better teacher, researcher, and a scholar. Not worse. These things make you better, not worse. Part of what I'm trying to do through this podcast and the I Should Be Writing Facebook group and my paid programs is to support academic women to change the culture of academia, to be more inclusive of feminist paths and non-cis male bodies. To do this, we need to disrupt this idea that the traditional path is even a real thing. Your path is a legitimate path. You get to shape it, to decide what milestones are important, to decide when and how you accomplish each milestone you choose for yourself. You are disrupting academic culture just by being you inside the academy. And so it's time to stop referring to our paths as non-traditional and to push back against the whole idea of a traditional path. So, how can we disrupt the traditional path in academia? I want to talk today about 3 ways. The first way is to change the way we talk about it. When we use the term non-traditional path, we are legitimizing the traditional path, right? So I feel like we need to say something else. We could be like Prince and say, instead of the artist formerly known as Prince, we could say the path formerly known as non-traditional, but we need something. We need to start changing the way we talk about quote unquote non-traditional paths. Let's call it the disruptive path or an intersectional feminist path or something else, so that we stop reproducing the legitimacy of the quote unquote traditional path by labeling ourselves non-traditional. Instead, label yourself what you are: disruptive, feminist, successful, whole. All right. Number 2, the second way that we can disrupt the traditional path in academia is to set our own milestones. So in both Amplify and Elevate, we work on creating a milestone map that reflects the milestones that you want for your career. This is a powerful exercise because it calls on you to declare what is important to you despite what your institution values. If you are working towards your milestones, you will satisfy your university's requirements for tenure and promotion. And if you don't, then you are at the wrong institution. Do you even really want to get promoted at an institution that doesn't value the same things as you do? No, actually, you don't. So make the path yours. Own it. You will be more successful for it. And the third way that we can disrupt traditional paths in academia is that when you create your tenure and promotion documents, embrace your path formerly known as non-traditional. Play it up, throw it in their faces, because your particular set of experiences is an asset to your university. And part of the skill that you need to develop is speaking about your particular path and the milestones that are important to you as assets and not as liabilities. For example, there's this idea that we need to justify gaps in production that might be the result of pregnancy and childbirth, right? Or that might be a result of illness or some other very human experience. So one of the things that we can do is think about what are ways that we can talk about gaps in a way that shows them as an asset. Similarly, like how can you think about what you might right now consider to be a diversion or like a step off the path as an asset? So I talk to a lot of women who are older when they're going up for tenure because they had 10-year careers between their bachelor's or their master's and starting the PhD. That 10-year career is absolutely an asset. You bring so much more to your teaching and research when you have lived an entire career before going up and studying. Usually it's not unrelated, right? Usually it's completely related to whatever career you had. You then go on for a PhD in a related area. And that is also absolutely an asset. So we really need to think about how these things that don't fit, as I said before, the racist, patriarchal expectations of academia, how do the things that don't fit those become assets? How can we talk about those things as assets? All right. So I hope that you have been inspired today to create your own path and to reject the received milestones in academia. You are already disrupting those milestones. What I want for you is to embrace that disruption and to say, I'm going to put aside these ideas of a traditional path, and I am going to craft a career for myself in which I am in control, which is in line with my values, which is in line with what is important to me. And the people who can do that without fear, without coming to your career from a place of scarcity, the people who can do that are the people who will be super successful inside of academia. We might think that aligning ourselves with tradition will make us successful, but the future of academia is you. And aligning yourself with your goals and what is important and inspiring to you, and making sure that that message gets into the world, that will change academia. You can do it. I believe in you. The content for this episode was inspired by the 35 women who I had almost hour-long conversations with each one of them in the 2 middle weeks of December of 2019. And the way that I ended up talking to so many women was that I did a workshop for post-tenure women. And in that workshop, we talked about our fears, aspirations, and what we really wanted for post-tenure careers. And at the end of that workshop, which was, I think, in November, I invited people to get on a call with me to talk about it. And from those calls, we developed the Elevate program. The Elevate program, if you're listening in real time, is starting any day now. This episode is planned to release at the end of January 2020, and Elevate is a 6-month program that starts in February 2020. There are only 10 spaces. By the time this comes out, it might be full, but I want to let you know anyway that if you are still wanting to apply, it is possible we have spaces left. And by applying, we also can hold on to your name for if we do a next round, which probably won't be until 2021. So what you can do is apply for Elevate at the link in the show notes and have a 10-minute call with one of our coaches to hear all about the program and see if it's a right fit for you. Elevate is heavy on one-on-one coaching. It's a 6-month program that involves both one-on-one and group coaching because it's really trying to help you figure out what the next level of your post-tenure career is going to be and give you the skills and strategies to get there. So see the show notes for applying to Elevate. If you're pre-tenure, I have good news for you. The Amplify program is a rolling admissions program. We are always letting new people into the program. It is a year-long program of support for pre-tenure academic women. It heavily relies on peer mentoring and a unique to academia way of doing group coaching called masterminding. And if you are interested in having the kind of pre-tenure support that will help you go up for tenure with confidence by putting writing at the center and really creating the systems and processes for you to get those publications out so that when you are ready to go up for tenure, you feel like, yeah, I got this. Then apply for Amplify today. When you apply, it's the same process. It's a very short form application, and then you will book a 10-minute call with one of our coaches. And during that call, she will basically do rapid fire questions and which help us figure out if the program is a good fit for you. And then the next step in the process is a longer call with me where we really dig in to your needs around pre-tenure writing and pre-tenure prep and enroll you in the program if you are ready. Check the show notes for those links and make sure that in 2020, you are going to have the best experience you can by having help and support through a professional development program.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time loving on yourself and your writing by listening to this episode. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join the over 7,000 academic women in the I Should Be Writing Facebook group. Just go to facebook.com/groups/I Should Be Writing or search for I Should Be Writing inside your Facebook app. See you inside.